There exists a single mathematical line that secretly controls every prime number in existence. No pattern, no formula, no rhythm. For thousands of years, they have looked completely random. And this is the only thing stopping that chaos from being real. This line could predict every prime number that will ever exist. Prime numbers are the atoms of mathematics. Every whole number is built out of primes, just like every molecule is built out of atoms. This makes primes incredibly important. But here's the problem. When you look at primes on the number line, they seem completely unpredictable. Sometimes they're close together, sometimes incredibly far apart. No obvious pattern, no simple formula. For more than 2,000 years, mathematicians dreamed of a formula that could generate primes. Many formulas seemed to work at first, and then suddenly broke. It slowly began to feel like primes were truly random. Then, in 1859, a quiet German mathematician changed everything. Riemann didn't try to predict the next prime. He asked a completely different question. Instead of asking, "Where is the next prime?" he asked, "How many primes exist up to any number?" And hidden inside that question, he discovered a map. To understand Riemann's map, we have to start with something that looks completely harmless. What happens if we add the reciprocals of all numbers forever? This expression has a name. This is called the zeta function at 1, and it explodes to infinity. Total chaos. Okay, that didn't work. What if we try something simpler? Even worse. Mathematicians tried every trick they knew. Strange answers. Beautiful answers. This doesn't mean the sum literally equals -1/12. It means the zeta function assigns it that value through deeper mathematics. But none of this helped predict prime numbers. Riemann realized something profound. The problem wasn't the formula. The problem was the dimension we were working in. For centuries, mathematicians tried to understand primes using only real numbers, and it never worked. So Riemann left the real world entirely. Numbers don't have to live in one dimension. There is an entire hidden universe of numbers, imaginary numbers. And Riemann did something shocking. He extended the zeta function into the complex plane. What was once a simple broken equation became a living, breathing surface. This is the Riemann zeta function in the complex plane. But Riemann wasn't interested in the whole graph. He cared about just one thing: the places where the graph equals 0. These special points are called the zeros of the zeta function. At first glance, they seem chaotic, unrelated, messy. But when mathematicians plotted enough of them, something unbelievable happened. Every zero they found landed perfectly on the exact same line. Riemann made a bold claim. He believed that every non-trivial zero for infinity lies on this line. That statement is worth $1 million. But here is the real magic. These zeros aren't just dots. They act like musical notes, frequencies, harmonics. And when you combine them all, they reconstruct the pattern of primes. This graph doesn't predict the next prime directly. It predicts how all primes behave. Mathematically, Each zero acts like a correction term in a giant formula for counting primes. But here's the explicit mechanism. Watch this. Each zero is a pure frequency, like a musical note. Layer them like sound harmonics. Destructive and constructive interference from these zeros vibrates the entire pattern of primes into existence. This isn't poetry, it's explicit math. It's easy to make this look clean, elegant, almost magical. But in the real world, this problem is brutal. To make the visuals for this video, to compute just the first 100,000 zeros, my laptop needed hours of processing and more memory than most games require. Supercomputers have checked trillions of zeros, and every single one of them sits perfectly on the critical line. But mathematics doesn't care about evidence. Checking a trillion cases isn't enough. Checking a trillion cases isn't enough. To prove the Riemann hypothesis, you must prove it for all zeros, for infinity itself. And that task has defeated every mathematician for more than 160 years. So, after all of this, what are we really looking at? The Riemann hypothesis isn't just a puzzle about numbers. It's a question about order and chaos. On the surface, primes look random, unpredictable, chaotic. But deep underneath, they may follow a perfect hidden law. And so much of our modern world quietly assumes that this hidden law is real. But the mind-blower is this pattern repeats in physics. The statistical pattern of Riemann zeros astonishingly matches patterns found in quantum energy levels. Primes don't just secure your WhatsApp. They're the hidden rhythm powering quantum chaos, atoms, and the digital universe. Generations of brilliant minds have tried to prove it. Some spent their entire lives chasing this single line. And still, no proof. So, here we stand. We have checked trillions of zeros. All of them obey the rule. But mathematics doesn't run on belief, only on proof. Are primes truly guided by a hidden melody? Or have we been fooled by the greatest coincidence in history? Somewhere out there is a proof worth $1 million.